In December 1945, 5 U.S. Navy torpedo bombers took off from Florida for a routine training run known as Flight 19. They were led by an experienced war veteran, but 2 hours into the mission, the compasses failed, the radio transmissions became incoherent, and 14 men vanished into the Atlantic. This disappearance followed a long history of similar tragedies, including the loss of the USS Cyclops. This was a 500-foot-long coal transport, one of the largest ships in the Navy, and it disappeared with 306 people on board, without ever sending a distress signal. These stories have haunted the region for centuries. Even Christopher Columbus, during his 1492 voyage, recorded seeing a strange ball of fire fall from the sky and plunge into the sea. Looking back with modern data, scientists believe Columbus simply witnessed a meteor. It is a clear example of how a rare but natural event can be recorded as something far more ominous. When our technical understanding of the sea fails, we often fill the silence with folklore, turning individual tragedies into a larger supernatural pattern. The geography of the Bermuda Triangle offers a more concrete explanation. This stretch of water is incredibly high traffic, and it is a primary path for violent Gulf Stream hurricanes and hidden shoals where the land sits just beneath the waves. Navigation is further complicated by agononic lines, areas where magnetic north and true geographic north align. For a pilot or captain relying on a traditional compass, this alignment can cause subtle, devastating errors in direction. There is also a psychological feedback loop at work here, called the Baader-Meinhof effect. It is the same reason that once you buy a new car, you suddenly start seeing that specific model on every street corner. Because the Bermuda Triangle exists in our cultural lexicon, we fixate on disappearances that happen within its boundaries, while ignoring identical wrecks that occur in every other corner of the ocean. When researchers actually ran the numbers on the world's most dangerous shipping lanes, the Bermuda Triangle didn't even make the top 10 list. The real mystery isn't found in the surface-level myths we've invented to explain our accidents. It is found in the massive, dark void directly beneath the ships that actually make it across. Dropping away from the surface means entering a world of crushing physical reality. For every 10 meters you descend, the weight of the water increases, eventually reaching pressures 400 times greater than what we feel on land. We know very little about this environment. Despite modern technology, over 70% of the high-resolution seafloor remains entirely unmapped. Historically, this lack of knowledge birthed the sea serpent. But many of those sightings were likely just bizarre deep-sea creatures forced to the surface. The kraken was likely a misidentified giant squid. These animals can grow up to 50 feet long, with eyes the size of dinner plates, making them a terrifying biological reality for any early sailor who encountered one. Even the rotting remains of a basking shark can look like a monster. As their gills rot away, the carcass leaves behind a long, narrow spine that sailors routinely mistook for a prehistoric plesiosaur. Life in the deep sea has adapted to the most extreme conditions on Earth, creating biological forms far more interesting than the myths we once used to describe them. In the twilight zone, where sunlight all but disappears, survival requires different biological tools. One of the most effective is bioluminescence. This anglerfish uses a chemical reaction to generate its own light, creating a glowing lure that functions as a beacon for prey in absolute darkness. But the deeper you go, the more the rules of life change. At the very bottom of the ocean floor, ecosystems exist with no connection to the sun whatsoever. Instead of photosynthesis, these life forms rely on chemosynthesis, a process that extracts energy from chemicals rather than light. The source of this energy is found at hydrothermal vents. These chimneys pump out superheated, mineral-rich fluids that would be toxic to most life on the surface, but here they serve as the foundation of the food chain. This alien biology allows complex communities to thrive in total darkness, proving that life can build an entire world out of the very things we once thought were uninhabitable. This dark, deep environment is a vital part of our survival. It acts as a global engine that regulates our climate and produces a significant portion of the oxygen in our atmosphere. This is a remotely operated vehicle, or ROV. It is the type of hardware required to map the abyss as part of the Seabed 2030 project. The goal is to produce a high-resolution map of the entire ocean floor. This data is essential for discovering new resources, protecting endangered biodiversity, and understanding how the ocean will react to a warming planet. By mapping the void, we are finally moving past the ancient habit of fearing the unknown and beginning to manage it with science. Gaining a clear sense of how we are connected to the sea, a concept known as ocean literacy, is the only way to replace myths with understanding. We are realizing that it is impossible to protect or preserve an ecosystem if we don't first take the time to map its reality. The greatest mystery of the ocean isn't found in how things disappear into it. It is the vast hidden life waiting to be discovered if we are brave enough to go down and look.